Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, and this is your AI News Digest. Today, we're tracking a really crucial story, how AI is breaking out of the digital world and into our physical reality. And as you'll see, that move is triggering some major conflicts and some pretty incredible breakthroughs all across the globe.
So, let's get right to our lead story. There's a geopolitical firestorm brewing in Washington, D.C. You know, that tension that's always been simmering between Silicon Valley's ethics and the Pentagon's demands? Well, it's just hit a breaking point. It's a fundamental clash over who really gets to control the most powerful technology on the planet.
At the heart of this conflict is Anthropic's flat-out refusal to waive its ethical red lines. The company is saying, no way will our models be used for mass domestic surveillance or for lethal autonomous weapons. Now, from the Department of Defense's perspective, this looks like a private contractor trying to dictate military policy. And their response, well, it's been pretty unprecedented.
So, Anthropic is fighting back. They've filed two major lawsuits. The first one challenges the penalties they're facing for refusing those military contracts. But it's the second one that might be even more critical. It challenges the Pentagon's move to label them a supply chain risk. I mean, that's a label usually saved for hostile foreign nations. It effectively puts them on a federal blacklist.
And here's where it gets really interesting. We're seeing this incredibly rare show of unity from Anthropic's rivals. More than 30 employees from OpenAI and Google DeepMind actually co-signed a brief supporting them. Their argument is that these ethical guardrails, they aren't an obstacle. They say they're absolutely essential for the U.S. to maintain its leadership and to attract the best minds in the field.
And this isn't just some abstract legal fight. The consequences are hitting Anthropic right now. We're hearing clients are already pausing contracts, and this risk designation puts their future funding in serious jeopardy. You see, this is way more than just one company's problem. It could set a huge precedent for government control over any A lab that pushes back on military demands. Okay, so while Washington is busy debating who's in control, the industrial world is just full steam ahead on deployment. AI is rapidly moving beyond our screens and into the actual physical machinery of our economy. A really key concept to understand here is the digital twin. Just think of it as a perfect virtual copy of a real-world thing. It could be a car engine, a factory, even an entire city. In this virtual sandbox, AI can run millions and millions of simulations to test and perfect performance before a single piece of hardware is ever built. And the impact is already becoming crystal clear. The company Synopsys just launched a platform that lets car makers validate up to 90% of a vehicle's software in a digital twin. This is collapsing the old 3 to 4 year development cycle. I mean, that is just a massive leap in industrial efficiency.
And, of course, the financial return on all this is undeniable. A brand new report from NVIDIA shows that AI adoption is directly boosting the bottom line. You've got nearly 90% of companies seeing more revenue and lower costs. But look at that gap. 76% of large enterprises are using AI. This is creating what some are calling a scale moat that smaller companies might really struggle to get across.
But you know, as these AI agents become more like autonomous coworkers, a brand new challenge is popping up: security. I mean, how do you make sure an AI that has access to your company's most sensitive data doesn't, well, go rogue? OpenAI's recent acquisition of PromptFu is aimed squarely at solving that problem.
You know, this is really a classic platform play. OpenAI is buying up a leader in AI testing, baking its security tools right into their platform to make it a default feature, and then they're using an open source strategy to set the industry standard. The end goal here? To make their frontier platform the go-to most trusted environment for deploying this new AI workforce. Okay, let's shift gears a little and talk about the direct human impact of these technologies. We're seeing AI completely transform two very different but equally high-stakes areas: our personal health and our entertainment.
Over at the HIMSS 2026 Healthcare Conference, one of the biggest themes is breaking down these medical data silos. athenahealth just gave a preview of its patient MCP server. It's basically a system designed to give you, the patient, direct control over your own health records. So you are empowered to grant secure access to the AI tools that you trust.
And this is all part of a much bigger vision for what they're calling an AI-native clinic. Imagine a system that listens in on doctor-patient conversations, automatically drafts the notes, preps prescriptions, handles all the billing codes. The whole point is to automate that crushing administrative work, fight physician burnout, and just let doctors get back to focusing on patients. Meanwhile, at the Game Developers Conference, we're witnessing this fundamental shift in thinking. games are evolving from these static, pre-built products into dynamic services. So instead of you playing by the game's rules, the game's AI is actually learning to adapt its world, its rules, its assets, all based on the player's imagination. And it's not just a concept. Tech giants like Tencent are dropping toolkits that are basically democratizing game development. Now, with AI, a tiny team can generate a huge 3D world just from a text prompt. You can prototype an entire game from a single sentence. This is completely changing the economics and the creative landscape of game design. So where is all this headed? What's next? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at the foundational research that's shaping the AI of tomorrow. And a really big theme is making AI dramatically better and more efficient at learning.
A really stunning breakthrough from USC shows us exactly this. Researchers gave an AI a task in a programming language it had literally never seen before. Then, they just fed the AI its own error messages as feedback. And by just learning from its own mistakes, its success rate jumped from 39% all the way to 96%. And here's the kicker, with no new training data. It actually taught itself.
This push for efficiency is also happening at the architectural level. We're seeing new models like AI2's Olmo Hybrid that are mixing different approaches to get the same level of accuracy while using almost 50% less data. And that is absolutely crucial for managing the spiraling costs of training these massive models. Okay, finally, let's zoom all the way out, because none of these things are happening in a vacuum, right? They are all tangled up in this complex global web of regulation, competition for resources, and of course, geopolitical strategy. Here's a quick snapshot of the major friction points right now. In the US, you've got this tug-of-war between the federal government and states over who gets to regulate AI. Across the Atlantic, the EU is going its own way, really focusing on data protection. And beneath all of this is energy. The massive power demands of AI now directly tie its future to global energy markets and geopolitical stability.
And this isn't just an abstract idea. Just today, a startup called Nscale raised $2 billion. And what for? To build massive liquid-cooled data centers in Europe, specifically for AI, including one that's going to host 100,000 GPUs for OpenAI. This just shows you the staggering amount of capital that's pouring into the physical nuts and bolts needed to power this revolution.
And that really brings us to our final thought for the day. When you look at everything, from military contracts and corporate security to your own patient data and even the rules of the games we play, it's clear AI is becoming the new operating system for our society. And the question all of this raises, the one we'll leave you with today, is this: who gets to write the code?